Is Toronto's condo market on the verge of a collapse? With record high borrowing costs and a flood of new condos hitting the market, is this a real estate crisis waiting to happen, or is it the perfect opportunity for savvy buyers? What's exactly really going on? Today, we're going to dig into some of the latest updates happening in the Greater Toronto Area condo market specifically. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or rent in the city, things are changing really fast. And they're driven mainly by two key factors. Number one, high borrowing costs. And number two, an oversupply of condos. Now, let's break that down and get into what this is all really means for you. So over the last few years, there's been a huge number of condo projects being built all across the Greater Toronto Area. And we're talking record levels of completions. These condos were planned back a few years ago when the market was a lot hotter. People were snapping up pre-construction units like crazy because the demand was really high and interest rates were really low. Fast forward to today, and all of these projects are wrapping up. This means that there's a massive wave of new condo units that are hitting the market all around the same time. Before we look at the numbers, if you're new here, welcome, and please hit the subscribe button and the bell. And if you've watched my other videos, thank you for coming back. And I want to give you really great, valuable information. Please drop me a comment and I will personally respond back to you. Looking at the numbers, there were around 19,000 condo completions in our region between January and August of this year. That's up from about 12,000 units during the same period last year in 2023, and 10,000 condos the year before that. This means we're seeing record high condo completions this year in the GTA. You can just imagine all of this condo supply coming in a high interest rate environment is not a great combination. Active condo listings across the GTA were up 64% this summer versus the same time last year. That's from 5,400 condo listings to 8,300 listings. Right now, we're sitting at about 6 months of inventory of condo listings. And it's not just the GTA. We're seeing the same trend happening in other major cities. So year over year, active condo listings rose more than 40% in Mississauga, Hamilton to Burlington, and even other cities like London and Ottawa. So now you might think, hey, more condos mean more choices for buyers, right? Well, yes, but there is a catch. While we are seeing a record number of new condos up for sale, there is another factor here. Borrowing costs have also gone way up. So interest rates have gone up significantly, we know, in the past 2 years, making it a lot more expensive to get a mortgage. So even though there are more condos available for sale, many potential buyers are finding it harder to afford them. It's a really tough spot for so many people. So a lot of people ask me, why are there so many resale condos going up for sale in the past year? Over the past couple of years, since interest rates have increased, the cost of holding on to, let's say, condo investment property, there is higher mortgage payment, condo fees that have all increased. So some of the carrying costs for these properties, especially people who bought within the last 5 years and they were on variable rates, now they saw the carrying costs shoot through the roof. So like $1,000 or $2,000 or more each month. For a condo, that's a huge negative cash flow. The condo market is very sensitive to interest rates, especially since this segment is a traditional entry point for first-time buyers or investors. They're the ones who purchase condos. So with higher monthly payments because of higher interest rates, there's way less demand coming from first-time buyers. And then many people are continuing to rent instead of buying. So in August, we saw 11% less condo sales than the same time last year. And you might be asking, well, what does that mean for the market? Well, when you have more condos available than there are buyers who can actually afford them, it creates what we would call an oversupply. This oversupply can lead to some softening in prices because more sellers are now competing for a smaller pool of qualified buyers. They may have to lower their prices or offer incentives to get their units sold. So what about condo prices? For resale condos listed on the MLS, the average selling price is down by 4.5% from a year ago across the GTA. And it's higher for the city of Toronto. The average condo price is actually down by more than 6% in August versus the same time last year. Now, if you're thinking, great, lower prices sound like a win for buyers. And that's partly true, but there's more to it. Yes, you might find that some condos are being listed for less than they would have been, say, a couple of years ago. But with interest rates being higher, your monthly mortgage payments could still end up being more expensive. So it's kind of a very tricky balance. You might save on the purchase price, but because of those higher borrowing costs, your monthly expenses could still be higher maybe than you expect. So on top of that, a lot of these new condos were bought pre-construction by investors or buyers who may have planned to flip them or to rent them out. But now with these higher mortgage rates, or with the appraised value is now lower than what they bought it for, it actually can be a real mess for many pre-construction buyers. Because if the appraised value is lower than what they originally paid for, then they need to come up with the extra funds in order to close on the property. Unfortunately, it's sad. We are hearing more and more that some people, they have to walk away from their deals entirely because they just cannot make the numbers work anymore. Some people may even have to leave behind their deposits, and that could be $100,000 or $200,000 or more that they have to leave on the table. And when that happens, what happens? Those condos go back on the market, adding even more supply to a crowded marketplace. So it's kind of a domino effect. Now, what does all this mean for you? Well, if you're a buyer and you've got your financing in order, there could be opportunities for you to find a great deal on a new condo. With so many units available and fewer buyers, less competition, sellers might be more willing to negotiate on the price and or even offer incentives for the new build condos, or like paying for closing costs or including upgrades. It's definitely a buyer's market for condos. Like, I don't remember the last time that I saw 6 months of condo inventory in Toronto. So I think there are a couple of really great opportunities to get a condo in this market. If you're a homeowner of a larger house and you've been thinking about downsizing to a condo, this is a great time and a great opportunity. You have a huge selection of condos to choose from, and you can negotiate an amazing price, much lower price than even a couple of years back. So if you're looking to downsize from a house to a condo, this is a great time. And second, if you have equity in your own current home right now and you've been thinking about investing in an investment property and you haven't been doing it, now is another good time too, because prices are softened, prices are lower, you can negotiate a much better price, especially for condo. So if you're thinking of getting into a condo investment property, and you have equity and you have down payment and you have finance in order, and then you'd like to hold it and maybe downsize into that condo when you retire in the future, that would also be a great opportunity for you as well. But you also need to be cautious. If you're planning to get into the market, it is really important to crunch the numbers carefully. You really want to make sure that you're comfortable with what your monthly payments are going to look like. Even if the purchase price may seem very attractive, you have to consider the monthly mortgage payment, the condo maintenance fee, property tax, and utilities. You have to make sure that you can afford it in your monthly budget. For sellers, it's a bit of a different story. If you've got a condo that you're trying to sell, this oversupply might mean that you'll need to be more patient and potentially more flexible on your price. With so many new units out there, it's a competitive market and buyers are looking for like the best deal. But that doesn't mean that you can't sell. It just may take a little bit more time and more strategy. So you should really do the priority upgrades. You can check out my other video on the low cost and effective ways to modernize your property, but consider the best presentation. For example, professional staging and professional photography and digital marketing, very important. So is this oversupply a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it really depends on where you're standing. For buyers, they could be opportunities. but you've got to be mindful of those interest rates and your monthly budget. For sellers, it might mean having to adjust your expectations a bit. Either way, it is a dynamic time in the condo market, and it will probably take longer time before it's gonna get better. And if you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed doing it, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future updates. Thank you, and I'm so grateful for you.